Hello, hello, hello. I am back to finish the second part of this live. I'm going to wait for everybody to get in here. I know there's a lot of different lives on right now, so we might have a ton, not have a ton, but um, we are home finally. So I'm sorry that that cut off uh, earlier, but it's actually okay because a few new things I was able to find out here in the last hour, last couple hours, excuse me. So I'm gonna wait and see if anybody comes in. And like I said, I know it's 8:30. There's a ton of other lives going on right now. So, but if somebody wants to check out some true crime, they'll come over. Um, but I do want to go finish what we were talking about earlier with this case. Um, Tomorrow is the Brittany Drexel press conference, and that's at 2. So we'll be going over that tomorrow about 1:45. But there was some more things that I learned after my stream got cut off about this whole I can't even say his name, Grendon, I think it is, or Gendron. Um, hey, Amber. So, including his mom's name, his parents' names are Paul or Pamela and Paul. Um, but we're going to talk about that in a second. So, we'll just go ahead and get started. People will show up. So, for anybody who doesn't know, obviously, we'll just do a quick recap. There was a mass shooting in Buffalo at a store. It was definitely racially motivated. But here's kind of what we discovered after the fact now was that this kid had actually in July or June 8th of 2021 threatened his high school. He was then issued a mental health evaluation. He was taken to the hospital for hey, Michelle K. He was taken to the hospital for a mental health evaluation. Next thing I know, the law enforcement were aware of him. He was released. However, he was able to legally purchase his rifle. The ammunition that he used in the shooting yesterday was not legal in New York State, so they are trying to find out where he got that. But his gun that he used was legally purchased, which just blows my mind. So I don't know if the reasoning why he legally got that is because he was not arrested per se. I don't know how he wasn't arrested. So what else do we know about this Payton Gendron? Is that he is at college. Well, he's at a community college, but to the best of our knowledge, he still lives at home. He's one of 4 kids. He is the oldest. It looks like he has 2 younger brothers and possibly a younger sister. His parents are both civil engineers. And if anyone doesn't know what story I'm talking about, I'll recap. Just tell me. His parents are both civil engineers for the New York State Department of Transportation. They live in Conklin, New York, in the what you would call the upper middle class section. Neighbors say that Payton was a paper boy. He was, quiet, kind of a loner. But the family, I mean, if you could picture a typical upper middle class family, this is kind of what you would have in mind, which is so weird. His manifesto, they have released certain parts of it. So certain parts of it do say things like again, remember, it's 880 pages. That they ask, why do you, hey, Cotton Candy, they ask him why he did it or what, basically, why would you do that sort of thing. A lot of it's question and answer to himself. But remember, this was written beforehand. He says things such as, he refers to whites as whites, and that the rest of everybody else is 180, Amber. The rest of everybody else he calls replacers, right? He calls them replacers. He believes because his family has genetics linked to Ireland or something else that he is ethnically, in his words, white, ethnically white. It said his manifesto, we're going to call it, says, why do why did you use the weapon you used? And gosh, I've got to. The weapon is. Hold on. Hope that this doesn't disconnect me. The weapon he used was a. Let's see. It was. It's on here. I'd have to look. It was a semi-automatic. It was a rifle, one of those. I don't know how you call them, semi-automatic rifle, but he something along the lines of, I did it because this will hurt the most people. This will hurt the most. His computer was full of looking up things. Here's where you kind of see how just sick it is. Okay, on his, wow, I haven't been watching anything about this life to that. Yeah, absolutely, Michelle K. It hit close to home again. Another one in New York, Buffalo. Yes, AR. Thanks, Amber. I couldn't remember the name of it. So he looked up. It's that prison in Wisconsin, Waukesha or WA something UK or something, where something happened where a prisoner who was black shot a white woman. So on his gun, he had written the number 14 on his rifle, which I told you was a white supremacist type thing. 88 for Hitler. He had the N-word written on his rifle, and he had Virginia, that was her name, that was passed away in that prison, written on his rifle. He streamed it on Twitch. In fact, when they went over his accounts, like you can see in this manifesto, like he's setting everything up, right? So he's the tactical gear, he had his GoPro or whatever right on his helmet, streamed the first 2 minutes before, obviously Twitch immediately, got it down. This kills me. He did it in the way he did it, according to his manifesto, in order, he believes that drawing the attention to him in the way that he did it would help to eliminate the replacers. He felt if he did it with this gun, if he did it in this way, it would bring the attention needed to get rid of what he calls the replacers. He was asked to plead guilty. He refused to plead guilty because he doesn't feel like he did anything wrong. He basically just thinks everybody but white, which if he really went back to it, he's probably not ethnically white or whatever he calls that. So he has shown, according to no remorse. Let me see one other thing that it said that just blew my mind. It said that hold on one second, there was a really important part. Oh, he blames mass immigration for being part of the issue, and that immigrants are coming to America and they're having children, and slowly are replacing the white society. Like, it's just the most bizarre stuff. Is this brief part of it starts to come out, and these little bits and pieces are coming out that are just absolutely sickening. This is how sick. Okay, sorry. He looked up zip codes of all across New York State to find the zip code where he felt there was the most African American demographics, peaceful plants. It took him a month, y'all, to pick the place based on zip code after zip code of analyzing demographics. It's just, so he was in his parents' car. It is estimated that he was there a day earlier. And he wrote a list of goodbyes in his manifesto. So I do think he was planning on going out that way. And somehow the police convinced him not to. So as I was talking through this with Amber a little bit before this, because people are saying it's video games and stuff, and we were talking about it is. I mean, but his computer. I mean, he's been studying how to do this for a long time, and he is 18. But what I'm struggling with here is exactly, Sue. So he's 18, right? So here's what I'm struggling with. What at the time where he threatened the school in June of 2021, if he wasn't an upper class, wealthy white boy from and I don't like to talk about race typically, but from Conklin, New York, whose parents worked for the New York State Department of Transportation, would he have had a mental health evaluation and then gone on about his life and gone off to college? Exactly, autism. We have to ask that. I know, peaceful plants. We really have to, and I don't, but come on. If the same kid would have, that somebody that was killed in Tops, if one of them threatened a school, and would he have been sent for a mental health evaluation and never been arrested? Or the kid legally bought a gun after telling a school he was going to shoot it up. And that he one day wanted to do it. In his manifesto, he told people one day he wants to pull it off. So how did we miss these signs? So I'm trying not to blame the parents too much yet, because I have to play the other side of it and think they might be in utter shock and disbelief and grief. From what I've seen in certain things of, like posts and stuff, it seems like he was probably a little bit of an abled, spoiled kid. But I just want to know where signs were missed, because I don't understand. Oh, peaceful plants. Hey, girl, you're fine. I'm like the creator, so I have to be objective. You don't. I am trying to understand. Right? Exactly, Sue. So I'm wondering, okay, there was a mental health evaluation, and then what? Like, don't they usually, well, wouldn't they usually, New York State is one of the strictest states with gun laws. Don't they usually will put like something like a tag on, like he shouldn't have been able to go in and buy an AR-15 at 18 years old. Now that's the story that it's said right now, that he bought that, but I would have to see it. But I just find it hard to believe that he makes that type of threat and hops on off to college. Like it doesn't make sense. Because even people have said that he went to school. Y'all, he wore a white hazmat suit to school for an entire week because he did some sort of a play where he staged he in his words staged a Hitler-esque theme. So he wore like some white hazmat school or suit to school for a week. So you have to explain to me then how we missed this, like how this was missed. And the only thing I can think of is the upper middle class white boy syndrome. If somebody can prove me different, then great. Lord, I hope it's different. I hope it's not that I'm thinking that. But because I don't even like to talk about this. But at the end of the day, okay, so skip the race. Let's put that aside, even though that's the biggest, obviously, motivated thing. mental health wise, we missed it. Not we, but you know what I'm talking about. Autism, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Mental health wise, if I saw a picture of that boy and his parents, I would have said, man, that is a good looking family. That is a good looking family. And there's nothing odd about that. I mean, civil engineers. He was studying to be an engineer. But mental health wise, I think, okay, the ball was dropped there clearly. And you can't tell me that no one noticed. Hey, LFT, you mean to tell me no one noticed 180 pages? No one noticed his tactical gear when he's leaving the house in his parents' car? No one noticed him sticking a GoPro to a helmet or the armor he wore. Like, none of this? When I told all my kids this, you better bet, I don't care. If you're still living in my house, I'm going to know everything. I'm going to know everything. I'm going to know what's on your computer. I'm going to know what's on your phone. I'm going to know what's on your Snapchat. I'm going to know these things. Because, yeah, Sue, that's what I don't know, and then he actually even made me check myself, because when we were in the city, we're from this, hick town, upstate New York, but I was a little bit nervous being in New York City last yeah, peaceful plants, I agree, last night, in an area that was probably safe, but I immediately judged it to be like, oh my goodness. And I realized I'd walk past certain people, even white people though, y'all, even white people. It wasn't just a color thing, thinking, oh my goodness, that person looks like they would hurt me. So like I had to check myself, because I think it's very easy to get in that mindset. But yeah, peaceful plants, they were posing, yeah. I just don't think that if the roles were reversed and one of those kids or one of those people in tops were caught doing threats like that they would have had, oh man, I'm going to get so much hate. They would have had these same ease of evaluations and punishments, I guess. Uh, it's pretty insane. Do you know what he's most upset about? What he's most upset about right now? Yeah, autism, yeah. You want to know what he's most upset about right now, y'all? That the white supremacist groups loathe him. That's what he's most upset about, because he thought they would love him. And they told him they loathe him, because guess what? That doesn't bring any, to whatever cause they feel that they represent, that doesn't bring a positive thing to them. So he's most upset about that right now. I don't know. I don't know at what point, if he is doing it for attention, autism mom, I don't know at what point it crossed over to that next line. It's not like he went into the store. I mean, he got out of his car and boom, first 4 people he saw. There's pretty horrific video out there that you can see all over the parking lot, bodies. This guy, is because someone is a racist. They don't, right, Sue. So that's kind of where the white supremacist group or wherever is coming from. There was a guy in there that was picking up his 13-year-old's birthday cake for his 13th birthday. Gone in an instant. And then you know what's even worse is the kid's mom is gone. So the dad was all he had. And this little punk kid is saying, yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, I can't comprehend that. And I don't know. And I can't help but say, I mean, there was things missed, and I just don't understand how so many things in the state that's supposed to have the strictest gun laws. How did this happen? And I know, you know what, if they want to have it, if if they want to get a hold of guns, I get it. Like, this is an anti-gun thing. We hunt and all that stuff, but it's just, I just don't know how no one saw anything. Yeah, exactly. Sue, you're right. Evil is it's evil. Like, I don't know. I would feel better if he didn't live with his parents. I hope it comes out that he didn't, because I would at least feel like they didn't just completely ignore that. But I think I would have asked, "Where are you taking my car, son?" Wouldn't you have, like, the day before? "Where are you taking my car with an enormous amount of tactical gear?" Like, military tactical gear. But that also brings us to the other image, right? Image is image, and that's what we focus on a lot in the United States, everywhere probably, but the most what we put on Facebook, right? The perfect family. If you looked at them, you would think that is a good-looking family. His mom's a good-looking girl, lady. His dad's a good-looking guy. So we would say, okay, so everything looks perfect, the perfect family, and then boom, this happens. I heard he was in college in our house. Yeah, peaceful plants. That's what I heard too. So, it's that image of the perfect family, and you just wonder how much of it was actually true. And it's hard for me to believe he never said it. Exactly, Sue. So that's where you got to come with a question: did he learn this behavior from his family? Like, you don't just wake up one day and say, you know what? I think I'm gonna become a white supremacist. And I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna come to school in a hazmat suit. I'm gonna worship Hitler. I'm gonna call people replacers. I'm gonna write a 180-page manifesto where I admit to everything. And so now, what's his lawyer doing? Of course, trying to plead insanity. But yeah, peaceful plants. But in my opinion, if you're gonna plead insanity for this, why did he just? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, there is more. There is a hate in a heart that it can do something like this, that can just, like, hey, I'm out of my car and boom. Oh my gosh, Sue, I would be dragging my child to therapy, even if the mental health evaluation came back that he was fine. You better bet his butt would be in that seat twice a week if it had to be, with a therapist. I don't care. No, I don't care what any mental health evaluator says. Exactly, peaceful plants. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he didn't care. And if he did, he wouldn't have refused to plead not guilty. And he also, I mean, would have shown any sort of remorse. And so you all give me your opinion. Do you think that he got off from the school thing because he was a white boy, or do you think that people just miss signs completely, or that people just took it easy on him? And do you think he hit it so well that no one knew? I can't believe anyone never said any. I mean, he didn't say anything. Both peaceful plants. Yeah, I agree. Peaceful plants. That's it. Sue, yep. Pete, yep. I agree with you guys. I think they ignored it. They thought it was a phase, maybe, or something he'd outgrow. And um, Sue, I believe that some people are born evil. And I think his parents, upper class, you're right. I agree with everything you guys are saying. It's almost like when you're you're upper class, and you're like, if you just, like, his mom, the neighbor said his mom runs every morning. And it's just, if you pretend it doesn't exist, then it's not there. Right? Like, if you just pretend nothing is wrong, it'll just go away. Well, it doesn't just go away. Not when somebody's like that. And you can see a clear progression in who he was, from wearing hazmat suit to then taking a step forward and making the threat, to then writing things on his Facebook where he said he was going to actually, this is what he hoped to accomplish someday, to then it doesn't 180-page manifesto doesn't just happen overnight. Like, that's something he had to have been working on for a long time. So it's like, we'll just leave the kid in the room and just, yeah, we're the picture. Exactly, peaceful plants. Exactly, Amber. You just think it's never going to happen to me. They're the picture perfect family. And if we just pretend it doesn't exist, then it's going to just, nothing exists. He'll just outgrow it. And then he doesn't. And then this happens. And then you're left going, man, what could we have done differently? Yes, his parents aren't the one that pulled the trigger. His parents didn't. But I do blame, they have to take an ounce of responsibility. And so do the people. I guess I have to find out more about the mental health evaluation. But less than a year later, you don't actually go to carrying it out with 10 people and then pass a mental health evaluation. Case that didn't take him serious. Exactly, Stephanie. Exactly, peaceful plants. Right, Amber. Y'all, I mean, a lot of these kids that are going to do this are what we think of picture perfect families, right? And then, boom, they do it. I know, Sue. And I mean, his computer, they're saying, was full of stuff. Just full of stuff. And you don't know your son is decorating an AR-15 in his room? Like, I am sorry. It's maddening to me. I mean, my aunt, their son is 22 and he still lives at home. And like, he'll do things and they'll say, as long as you're under my roof, you're going to be telling me where, like, yeah. But I do think there was probably a level of, they have very good jobs. And just, if we just pretend it doesn't exist, then it doesn't. And now they'll never see their son again, and they shouldn't see him again. I mean, he's never getting out again. But it doesn't just affect them anymore, and it doesn't just affect their son. There's families that have lost, I don't know. At least their son's still alive, right? They can still visit him. But so in a sense, I do think racism is probably, that kind of hate is learned. But I think, I don't know. I don't know. It's not something you just stumble on. Out of sight, right, Punkette? And I'm naive to it because I've never had to experience it. Because I'm a typical white girl hick. But I can't believe that somebody just stumbles on being a racist. Like, I feel like to be that level, it has to be learned somewhere. And if they're into the internet that bad that they're learning it from the internet, then you better bet I'm unplugging his internet. I agree. Parents need to know what their kids are doing. I never believe. Right, exactly, Sue. Amber and I were just talking about that. Hey, LA, I think to a level we can blame the internet. I think Lycan was spot on earlier when he said, the internet's becoming the demise of society or something like that. But at some level, we can't blame the internet, and we got to start blaming the people. Him threatening the school was a chance to stop this, in my opinion. And I think it was ignored, personally. Because I've never heard of a kid making a threat in a school as graphic as he did and walking away after a mental health evaluation. I just haven't at all. And it's mind-boggling. The kid spent a month looking up zip codes to find the perfect demographic of where he was going to do this. I mean, I guess Punkette's got it on point. Out of sight, out of mind. But I don't know. You think it's like a mental I don't know. I don't know. Because that's not really like it's a mental disorder, but right, like sociopath or psychopath. But that hate is not like the hate is what is mind boggling to me. LA, it's so good to see you in here. Right, Sue, that's what I'm saying, and that's what bothers me. Oh, really, essay? Wow. Wow, essay. So let's say, something like that. Do you think so? I don't know that much. I know a lot about mental health, but um, could schizophrenia be a type of disorder to, maybe make him believe? And I'm not saying this is the case. I'm trying to understand schizophrenia. Make him believe that, say, African American people or Indian people or something are against him. I'm just curious. I just do think that a really big chance was missed when he made those threats. Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that. Wow. So even adolescents schizophrenia can take years to diagnose. Wow. And then it kind of goes back to our mental health system. Ah. And so, essay, let me ask you this question, or other people who might know about this. Somebody like this with adolescent schizophrenia that might be playing video games. Would they be more prone to taking on a mindset like that? That if they see it in a video game, okay, that's real then. I'm just trying to understand where an 18-year-old kid, gets this type of like knowledge and hate in his heart. Oh, wow, Sue. I had no idea about that. But that's a sad because I didn't even know about that. Wow. That's crazy. And I mean, like I said, we hunt deer because we eat it, but and so alternative reality as a character. Wow, okay, I say. And my kids all have guns, but none of them are here. We don't allow them in the house. So my father-in-law, who lives way out in the country, they're locked in a special. So yeah, we don't let them in the house, but in theory, the Gen X are more prone to that, but there are some Gen Xs that are prone to that from videos. Wow, Irvin, thank you. Oh my gosh. So this is really great knowledge, y'all. So I didn't even know this stuff. Prone to that so I guess if you put that whole cocktail of things together, it's the perfect storm. Man. See, I didn't know that it started at like, because I got to be honest, my son, like my youngest, he'll be talking sometimes and I'll be like, what is wrong with him? But then I'll realize he's like in his mind, they're playing, like he's playing a ninja game or something. And like I asked my friend, she's like, that's a good thing. He has imagination. And I was like, okay, I think I didn't want something to be wrong with him. But I mean, he's playing a ninja thing. But that is really, really powerful information. I think we need more, like I want to understand those things better. Because if that's the case and this is what happened, and I'm not saying it is, but then I hope he gets the help he needs. It doesn't take away what he did. But yeah, Sue, that's what my friend, she's a special ed teacher. She's like, Jess, because that's my real name. I promise you, you want him to have an imagination like that. Like he's having an imagination soon. Yeah, Irvin, I'm thinking that because that's some big time hate. Oh, he's in what do you guys call that? Oh, Irvin, you're a tech guy. I could tell. It's that chat that a lot of the younger kids are doing now in the video games, and I hear my kids talking about it, but they do it with their cousins. It's just their cousins who are super good influences. People talk about it. What is it? It starts with a D. My parents are in that. Never mind, kid. Right, exactly, Punkette. They were saying how much stuff they found in that. I can't remember. It's a certain chat that everybody uses now, especially in the gaming community. And that's where he kind of said all these things like that, what he wanted to. Discord, yes! Discord! Discord! Thank you. Where he wanted to fulfill this at some point. And this, um, the brains aren't fully developed. What's the brain mechanism that underdevelops in males until 20s? Oh, yeah, Irvin. That's what I'm kind of thinking. If you think about a normal 18-year-old kid, I mean, you're thinking of going off to college. You're thinking of, well, women. You're thinking of that kind of stuff. Whatever women, whoever you're with, you're not really thinking that type of stuff. And yes, it was his Discord that was full of stuff. So I'm wondering, I'll have to look that up, essay, because I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember the name of it. But that'll be an interesting question, is if anybody in his Discord, I don't know. It's insane. But apparently these Discord things can be really rough. My husband was like, "Oh no, those Discords can be rough." And I guess they're really big in the gaming communities. But to stream it on Twitch, I don't know. You think so, Sue? Does New York State have the death penalty? I can't remember. I only live here. I do know that the president is coming on Tuesday. I mean, whether you like him or not, that's here nor there. But he's in a lot of trouble. I will say that somebody I saw online like completely gave out their parents' like everybody's address and stuff. And I'm hoping that we don't need more violence to, like this could be really bad. This could be really bad. It already is really bad, but it's just across the board. I don't know. I just can't believe he threatened the school, and 10 months later, 11 months later, here we are. Harshest punishment is life without. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, essay. Sue, that's what I was. Yeah, that's what and you don't want to see it, but you can't, you can't blame where, if you lost a loved one, your head is, yeah, you don't want to see that at all, so I'm sure his parents and the other siblings I'm praying for. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what plays out. I think there was a lot of persuasion. It took years for him to go through it. He was near a city where there's yeah. So Irvin, that is one thing that really, oh yeah, you could tell Irvin by some of the things his family's. I mean, he was definitely loved. The interesting part is because Conklin's not that far from I mean, it's far, but not extremely far from like New York City and stuff. So I was shocked that he said he looked for a month. All the that was in his computer essay. That was in his computer. He looked that up, and church massacre in New Zealand, which I got to be honest, I don't remember. Sue, 11 out of the 13, yes, that were shot were, yes. Oh, Stephanie, yeah, he won't make it. I don't maybe he will, but he said right now he's on suicide watch because when they found him, he had the gun up to his neck, and they said they convinced him to take it down. But he did say he wasn't there for white people. That's what I thought, Irvin. That's the one thing. So exactly, Irvin. That's exactly what I said. Because I mean, Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting. I think there's going to be more that comes out about this story because, like Irvin said, you go to one of the five boroughs, and that's what that's more diverse completely than where he went in Buffalo. So I think a lot more will come out in the next few days. But are you kidding me, Sue? Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. But I mean, I didn't even know about the one in New Zealand. But those were the two big things. That and about the Wisconsin prison or something. I don't know. Ugh. I just find it highly unlikely that he bought that gun. I don't know. Maybe he did. Whoever conditioned him knew that he had to hit a white city to make. Oh my gosh, Irvin, you're right. You are right. Sorry, that makes total sense because in his manifesto, he said that he had to do it this way in order to get the attention that of the replacers or whatever he calls it. Oh my goodness. You are so right because even look at the Brooklyn subway thing that happened last year or whatever. Um, you know, yes, it was terrible, but you think, okay, well, Brooklyn. Yes, that is such great insight. That makes yeah, yep. I think you're right. I'm not just love bombing you, Irvin, but that was a really super point because that's bothered me all day of going, that doesn't make any sense. I don't buy the whole demographic of that doesn't make sense at all, especially since I just came. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Yep. He wanted to make news and he made that clear in his manifesto that he wanted the attention. Huh. It's a solid point. And they would have said, absolutely, when that stuff happened, they would have said, it's New York. You're right. I mean, yeah. Oh, Irvin, that makes sense. That makes sense. I knew you were in the medical field. I just never knew what. Um, but yeah, the whole location thing has kind of perplexed me all day because I'm thinking, you do know it. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. He had to go where it was going to was going to rock people to make the news. I mean, the president's coming to Buffalo. That never, I mean, it's not a place he would come. But so he had to find a demographic that fit within a certain area to get him attention. Wow. Well, hey y'all, I just wanted to talk a little bit and finish that live from earlier. We'll keep up to date on this story. Um, but I think it's important to talk about. The shooting in the church was a 60-year-old. Oh, really, Sue? Oh, gosh. Wow. That's that makes sense, Irvin, because the other thing, he wanted the attention to the people that did the gun laws and stuff. Like, yeah, it's just, yep. No, exactly, Irvin. This was a long time of training and just, yeah, I absolutely agree. My biggest thing is I'm praying for his siblings because, oof, that's rough. That's rough. But we'll see what comes out with the mental health and stuff. And I hope if he does have some sort of, adolescent schizophrenia, I mean, I just hope he gets the help that he needs. But, um, well, so y'all, there's some other lives on and stuff. Thanks for joining. And tomorrow, like I said, the Brittany Drexel press conference is coming up. I'm really looking forward to, hopefully they've got their man. But thanks for your input, y'all. And I hope you knew, like, yeah, Yeah, Stephanie, I do hope that, because at the end of the day, like Sue said, I believe it could be a race riot, and we don't want Sue. I know a day. This is the same as suicide by start than yeah. Irvin, you're right. You're right. That you know what? You're 100% right. You're right, because somebody actually said something about that on a post of, if you know, because we see Al Qaeda, their kids are really young, and we see them, you know, with bombs strapped to them or just with guns and just ingrained in them. And then this is kind of very much like that. Y'all are smart. I think we've solved it. But all right, y'all. Well, I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for this input, and let's hope something's done. I'll catch you guys later.